We're 5 lawyers, 4 of which are in Chicago, and me living in Paris. Why? Because virtually all of our clients are small to medium-sized European companies doing business in the United States. What we do is we try to help them minimize their exposure to legal risk when doing business in the U.S. by taking advanced preventive action. In the U.S., it's go big or stay home. You've got to be determined to be successful. And that means money, but for many of you in smaller companies, it's time. You've got to be prepared, even if you have wonderful partners in the United States, even if you set up your own subsidiary in the United States, you've got to be prepared to go to the United States to keep a keen understanding of what's taking place too. It's very important for you to understand that. When you meet somebody and you talk about what you do, an American is going to be really enthusiastic. Why? Because it keeps doors open, or it opens a door. It keeps the conversation going, might keep you interested in doing business with them, whether they're interested or not. You can be 100% certain that whoever you're talking with as a prospective business partner in the United States has a lawyer and talks to their lawyer regularly, which probably makes them a little bit wiser, if I may use that expression, concerning legal aspects than many of their foreign counterparts. So it's important for you to understand that Americans use lawyers before they do business, not after there's trouble. So there's no civil code in the United States. So people are allowed to prepare contracts that cover a lot more issues than a standard contract would in Europe. That's one of the reasons why American contracts generally are much longer than European contracts. Please understand that a contract is not a piece of paper that maybe gets looked at some point in the future. If there's any kind of a problem, the first place the American is going to do is to go through the contract and understand their rights. Then they might give you a call and try to resolve it, but they will have done their homework ahead of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
I started the firm in 1985 largely because I spoke Swedish and I spoke French, and figured that that was a good way for me to start developing business for my little firm. So I started traveling to Sweden, where I was born, and to France because I was lucky enough to speak French, and that's how I started developing business relationships and helping European companies do business in the United States and minimize their legal risk when doing so. It's interesting to note that Sweden worked the best initially, partly because I was born in Sweden and understand Swedish culture. The French, they were a lot slower to give their confidence and trust, but once they realized that, having lived in France and in Switzerland as well as in Sweden, that understanding the cross-cultural differences made a difference for them and their clients as well.